Hello everyone, welcome to the Stock Martin channel. We are going to be talking about some Chinese companies, some Chinese stocks that have been falling and have been falling a lot. These have been very popular stocks that a lot of people were invested in the US, but now they are falling. We will be talking about the top reasons why these stocks are falling and what should you do to protect your portfolio. I think you're going to get a lot out of this video. Before we get down into it and get started, give me that big thumbs up to keep me alive on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit all to get my latest uploaded videos, and don't forget to share this page with others so we can continue to grow this channel. I do have some free stocks for you using my link down below to Moomoo. If you put in $1 into that free account, that will guarantee you a free NIO stock. In addition to this, if you fund it with up to $100 or more, we'll get you a free Lucid Motor stock. On top of that, a free LCID stock. Stay to the end of this video and I can show you how you can get an additional up to $17,500 in free stocks that you can take a huge opportunity to get some free money. Now, without further ado, I did want to talk to you about these Chinese companies, these Chinese stocks that are trading on the stock market that are falling down, and they are falling down fast and hard. We will be talking about Chinese stocks such as Alibaba, NIO, and these stocks have been falling and have had huge downward pressure, bringing these stocks low. There are top two reasons why the Chinese stocks are falling, and they have been falling, especially in the past month. But most recently, this could be accounted for the most latest news from the Security and Exchange Commission that was announced through CNBC on March 10th, 2022. On Thursday, this article did mention that Chinese stocks are down sharply on Thursday, and what could be behind the decline can be seen in this article. The Security and Exchange Commission identified 5 U.S. traded stocks that are American Depository Receipt of Chinese company stocks. So these are ADR companies. These are the top companies listed right now. Notice that Alibaba, NIO, Xpeng, Li Auto are not listed on this, but these companies that are listed did fail to adhere to the Holding Foreign Companies Accountability Act that was passed in the year 2020. What this act does is that it allows U.S. regulators to go in and audit these Chinese companies for the past 3 years. Now, these 5 companies, these ADR companies, are securities of non-U.S. companies, and they are traded on the U.S. stock exchange. Again, this act was passed in the year 2020, and it permits the SEC to ban companies from trading and can be delisted from the U.S. exchanges if American regulators are not able to review the company's audits for 3 consecutive years. So right now, again, Alibaba, NIO, Xpeng, Li Auto are not on this, but there is fear that potentially they could be one day. Now, these 5 companies that I have mentioned, they are going to be identified, and they did fail to adhere to this act, which means that they could be delisted. So if you do own any of these stocks in these 5 companies that I did just show you, these stocks will be worth 0 if do get delisted, and you will lose all your money, all your shares in those stocks. Now, this article does go on and talk about that all the Chinese listed ADR companies will likely end up on the list because none of them will be able to comply with the requests that have their auditors being reviewed. This did come from Brandon Aaron, which is the Chief Investment Officer of Crane Shareholders. Now, this is because the Chinese law prohibits the auditor to provide their review to U.S. regulatory authorities. So this is going to be a very big back and forth between the US government and the Chinese government. It's going to be a big yin and a yang to see if they're going to allow the Chinese companies to be audited, to be reviewed by American regulators. If this does not happen, again, 3 consecutive audits, 3 consecutive years, this company could be delisted. That's the number one reason why I believe that these stocks are falling. And as you saw on there, that these companies could be delisted if there's 3 consecutive years. Now, note that Alibaba, NIO, Xpeng, Li Auto are not listed here, but they are protecting themselves. And this could be seen later in this article. These companies are protecting themselves because the disputes with China are causing the US listed Chinese companies to increasingly become dual listed in Hong Kong. Just last year, Alibaba, you also have NIO have taken that step. So just most recently, we did find out that NIO is going to be dual listed with the Hong Kong exchange, which means that they will be trading in Hong Kong, so they could always raise money. The company could always raise money through the Hong Kong exchange if something happens to the US exchange. Now, will this happen? We are still unknown. There's still a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear, and a lot of doubt. When this happens, these stocks fall. And as you could see, these stocks fell quite hard. Now, the second biggest reason why there is a huge sell-off in Chinese stocks is because of the Russian-Ukraine war. We do know now that Russia-Ukraine war is going on, and it has been going on for quite some time. We do know that the US government has responded by very severe, strict sanctions against Russia. It has actually cut it off economically. We do know that the ruble, the Russian currency, has dropped to about 1 penny, worth less than 1 US penny. We also do know that the stocks of Russian governments have fallen more than 50%, and they are starting to feel the pressures of their actions on causing this war with Ukraine. We also do know that the US government has given huge sanctions on oil exportations from Russia. So now Russia is reaching out and asking for help from China. This is creating a huge problem geopolitically between US and China and their relationship. So just from Reuters, just recently, we did hear some news today that there is some US is raising concerns about China's alignment with Russia at a meeting it calls very intense. We do know that they did meet today on a 7-hour meeting with the Chinese and American diplomats. They did talk about and warn China that there should be isolation and penalties if they do help Moscow with its invasion into Ukraine. Now, after the US-China talks ended, the White House issued a short statement saying that there were a range of issues that the US-Chinese relations talked about with regard to Russia's war against Ukraine. They said that they have deep concerns about China's alignment with Russia at this time. The National Security Advisor was direct about those concerns and the potential implications, consequences of certain actions. They did go on to say that they described to the Chinese people that the unity of the United States and its allies in partners bringing the costs on Russia for its actions. This official ended that. So they will be providing huge sanctions on anybody that helps Russia. So they are now telling China to not help Russia. We will see what happens. I do think that this is a very, very critical time for these Chinese stocks, especially if you do own Chinese stocks and China does announce that it will be aligning with Russia. It will be helping them, especially bypass all those US sanctions. This will be very downward pressure, very bad news for these stocks, and these stocks could go down even more from the points that they are now. So right now, these stocks are very potentially loaded, very politically, geopolitically loaded, because we are having that war and we don't want to take sides with Russia. So these stocks could potentially go down quite a bit. Also, there are those fears of delisting. So both of these combined is putting a lot of huge downward pressure on. I don't think that we have seen the end of this. I do think that these stocks will continue to fall and will continue to fall quite a bit more. I did just want to show you how the two most important stocks are the NIO stock and the Alibaba stock. The NIO stock, if you can see, is trading today down 12.3%. Just in the past 5 days has been down 22%. Again, this is whenever we did hear those tensions with Russia calling out, asking for aid from China. Whenever you heard that, this stock actually started crashing, started to go down. But in the past 1 month, ever since the war started, you do see a downward pressure on this stock, down 45%. In the past 6 months, again, falling 63%. We did see when things were actually good before the war, before all these tensions, NIO stock actually tested about $42 at one point on November 23rd. Since then, we've had a huge sell-off on this stock from its highest point to right now, down 66%. Huge amount of percentage down. Again, this will be a time to watch, a time to see how this stock does, because it's all dependent on how China reacts and what China does with this Russian conflict. If China does align with Russia, if they do support Russia, I definitely see that these stocks will go down. They will go down quite a bit. Now, is there anything wrong with the company? There is not anything wrong with NIO. I do think that as a company, they will continue to make vehicles. They are also, remember, making vehicles for the European Union. So we'll see if they cut those ties, because right now, China does export a lot of things to Europe. They have a lot of agreements with a lot of NATO companies, a lot of NATO countries. So we'll have to see how this will work, because right now, US made it very clear to China not to help aid Russia, because also all the allies will be with US. So very big, important things to watch for. And I did also want to show you in transition the stock on Alibaba. Alibaba, again, down 10% today at $77.76. In the past 5 days, again, you can see 22% down. In the past 1 month, down 38%. It was actually trading above $125 at the beginning of February, but since that, it has fallen. Again, when you look at Alibaba, BABA is the ticker. It actually was trading about $177 in October. But again, the middle of November, this is when it started to fall, when we had the Chinese regulators, when we had the talks of delisting. You definitely saw this huge downward pressure on this stock, but these stocks have fallen quite a bit. And again, right now is very geopolitically loaded stocks that could fall even more with these pressures. So we'll definitely have to keep our eyes on that. We'll have to see what pans out. But right now, these are very tricky times with these stocks. We do know that a lot of people that are not worried about this, that do have the stomach to go through this, they are actually buying on. We have seen, I believe I saw from Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary actually had bought some Alibaba at these prices. So you also have some senators, US senators, that are buying Alibaba at these prices. You also have a lot of institutions that are buying NIO. Just most recently, I did just want to show you this one article from Barron's. We did see that Norway's central bank sells Apple stock. It actually bought NVIDIA, Plug, and NIO. So it actually added on NIO in the fourth quarter. So again, we are starting to see that there are still a lot of people buying these stocks, but right now is a very risky time for these stocks. So please always do your own due diligence, always do your own research. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share this page with others, but don't forget to get your free stock using my link down below to Moomoo. Put in $1 into that account. We'll guarantee you a free NIO stock. Put in at least $100 to get a free Lucid stock in addition to that. And also, Moomoo will give you up to 5 free stocks, each valued up to $3,500, which is an incredible opportunity to get at least $17,500 in free stocks. Take advantage of these huge opportunities, this free money, especially in this very difficult time in the stock market. But again, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I can't wait to talk to you on the next one. Thank you.